Happy day, friends. I wanted to take a moment and talk to you guys about some of the things that I've experienced during my 7.5 months of breastfeeding Micah. I know there's a ton of breastfeeding videos out there, what to do, what not to do, how to increase your milk supply, what might hurt it, but everybody's different, and I figured I might have something to offer. I know that every body is very different, and some people don't get their milk supply in right away. Some people do. Some people can hang on to it for years and years, and other people it seems to suddenly dry up. So it's been 7.5 months for me. I feel like I've learned a little bit here and there, and I want to share it with you guys. So I'm going to go through kind of month by month, or just in like a time span, so that I can hopefully not forget anything and you can kind of travel along with me to see what I've done and roughly when I've done it. Micah was born, and about 4 or 5 days later, my milk supply came in really strong. I was blessed to have a really heavy milk supply come in. She took really well to the nipple. She knew exactly what to do. We didn't have any problems there. But the first thing, the first problem I experienced was my milk supply coming in. It was very painful, and I did not know if I should pump or if I should let it be and let myself adjust it on its own. After talking with a lot of my friends who are also moms, obviously, I came to the decision for myself, after hearing both sides of the story, that I was gonna wait a day and then I was gonna pump. I kind of just needed that time to figure out what I wanted to do, and I decided that I would rather have more milk and have to pump than my body not make enough milk. So I decided the following day that I was going to express my milk with a pump, because she was not going to be able to eat that much. So right after my milk supply came in, she was eating just fine, and afterwards I would pump every single time. And a few days in from that, I got a really bad cracked nipple. It was bleeding. It was really painful. I had to stop nursing her on that side, this side. So I would nurse her on this side. It would be plenty for her to eat, and then I would continue pumping this side and then pumping this side. So I was still pumping both sides. She would get enough. I would have some left over to store, and it was great. It worked for me. I know it doesn't work for everybody. You falling down? You playing? You falling down? Yeah, you falling. Why do you sit you back up? Here, you sit you back up. Here's your bink. Here's your cow. Here's your book. Take your pick. So I continued doing that for a few months, I want to say. I don't exactly remember, but I want to say at least the first month and maybe a bit into the second month. I did eventually let my body start to regulate. I didn't want to have to be pumping every single time. I had established my milk supply to where I wanted it to be, and I decided I do not like pumping. It got old real quick, so I started to wean off the pumping and just let my milk supply figure itself out. It works on a supply and demand, so she was getting enough. She was letting my body know what it needed, and it would adjust accordingly. I'm going to be talking about a few products as I tell you guys about my breastfeeding experience, and this is one of them. So as I was pumping that amount of time that I did, this get it out. This is what I would use to freeze and store my milk. I never did the bags. I felt like the pumping bags were, I don't know, just not for me. I never tried them though, so maybe there's something that I'm missing. So I would just fill these up, stick them in the freezer, and then transfer them into plastic bags. And that made it really easy because they were frozen in 1 ounce cubes essentially. I could take out exactly what I need when it came to mixing it into her cereals or baby purees, or even if I needed to heat up and feed her from a bottle sometimes. Here. Some people use ice cube trays. I'm sure those work fine, but I do like these because they freeze in bars and you can stick them right into a bottle. I want to say around month 2. I can't exactly remember when this happened, but I was taking, they were like nursing vitamins, like nursing support vitamins. I don't know exactly what they were called. I think it was the same brand as this, the Milky's brand. I thought they were really helping me. Maybe this is coincidence, I'm not sure. After reading up on it, I realized that some people react differently to fenugreek, but it seemed as soon as I ran out of the vitamins and then stopped taking them, it seemed like my milk supply increased. So I don't know, I haven't really tried it since, but it seemed like for me, fenugreek decreased my milk supply. It didn't seem like a ton, but I did notice that after I stopped taking them, it seemed like I got a boost in milk supply. Could be coincidence, might not be, I'm not sure. Kind of an afterthought from the pumping, I would highly recommend getting a pumping bra if you know you're going to be pumping a lot. It saved me so much time down the road when I finally got one. But fair warning, it makes you feel kind of like a cow having those things just stuck on you, but having hands-free is fantastic. New toys. Let's keep you entertained. Say thanks, Dad. Let's see. So around month 3, let's see, that would be 12 weeks later. Maternity leave is different for everybody. Some moms go back to work. Some moms don't get maternity leave. Some moms continue working from home. Everybody's different, so this portion worked really well for me. I know it won't work for those of you that have to go back to work. I've been working from home. I have fed her these whole 7.5 months on demand, which means whenever she's acting hungry, she gets fed. I haven't really stuck with a schedule for her. She kind of makes her own schedule. In some ways, that's been really great. In other ways, it's been a little bit difficult because I work around her. That doesn't make getting things done efficiently the greatest, but I feel like it has played a part in keeping my milk supply. So especially the times that she's been cluster feeding, that's when feeding on demand gets a little difficult and really draining for me at times. But by letting her cluster feed as much as she wants, by letting her feed really whenever she wants, which might be getting soon, it has allowed her to tell my body, hey, I need more milk, make more milk for me. During those times, I thought that my milk supply was dropping. I thought that she wasn't getting enough. Now I realize that she was just telling my body she needs more. Way more than I expected she needed. During those times, I would also help my body make more by doing what are called pumping marathons. Essentially, you pump... Is she being distracting, babe? Should I just feed her while I talk? Sorry, guys. Like I said, feeding on demand. While she was cluster feeding, I would also do pumping marathons, which essentially means you're pumping 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off for about an hour. I really do think it helped a little bit. I don't know that it really did that much more because she was already cluster feeding so much, but I've heard it works wonders for some women. It gets their milk supply up just like that. Something else I'd also do when I felt like my milk supply was dropping was to start pumping every night. So I weaned her off of night feedings around 4 months. And I was really worried about my milk supply dropping a lot because she wasn't going to be eating during the night anymore. So I started pumping at night before I went to bed, which was roughly 3 hours after she went to bed. I started pumping to make sure if my milk supply was going to drop, I could maybe keep it a little bit longer, or I could store up more in the freezer for her. Around months 5 and 6 is when I really started to feel like I had the hang of this whole breastfeeding thing. I mean, even now, sometimes I'm like, what the heck is going on? But it's really when I started getting comfortable with my ability to manage it. And so up to this point, I had been going to the gym here and there when I could, really probably once or maybe twice a week if I was lucky. But around month 6, maybe 6.5 months, is when I started to really get my schedule in order and start being able to go to the gym. A lot of that had to do with me being comfortable with her going to the gym nursery. But around that time, and I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. So I'm going to tell you guys, it's going to seem like, well, yeah, duh, obviously. But at the time for me, I had no idea what was going on. I was working out harder. I was eating plenty of calories, and I was drinking what I thought was plenty of water. I was drinking just as much water as I was before, but for some reason, it's obvious now, my milk supply was dropping drastically. Like, it seemed overnight she was starving. I didn't know what was happening. I knew that I had been going back to the gym, but I told myself, I'm still drinking just as much water. I'm eating plenty of calories. I'm eating more calories because I was starving. But I didn't, for whatever reason, take into account that I was sweating a lot more, and I needed a lot more water than I had been drinking in the past, which seemed like so much water, but really you need to drink a lot of water to have a good milk supply. So during that time, it was about 3 days when I finally was like, hello, drink more water. And so I did. I went and bought a bunch of Gatorades, which I know helped some people. I don't think the Gatorade itself helped me. It was just the extra fluids that helped me. However, some women swear by Gatorade, saying that it boosts their milk supply just like that within hours. It didn't do that for me. The Gatorade didn't do it for me. But just drinking more fluids is what helped me. And after that little hiccup, my milk supply has been great ever since. I haven't pumped in, gosh, I think it's been months now since I've pumped. I just haven't felt the need to anymore because she's starting eating solid foods. I don't feel like I need to make a surplus now. I already have some stored in my freezer, and the breastfeeding journey, if it doesn't dry up beforehand, because I know it can for some women at any time, but if it doesn't dry up, then we're gonna plan on being done around 1 year. Kind of makes me sad, but at the same time, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll stay with like night feedings after that or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Play it by ear. That's what I feel breastfeeding is all about, is playing it by ear and doing what you can to keep your milk supply up. A couple other things that I wanted to note. Coffee. They say that caffeine reduces your milk supply. I drink about 2 cups of coffee a day. When I say cups of coffee, I mean this. So, I mean bigger than your average cup of coffee. So not an alarming amount of caffeine, but also not zero. I don't get caffeine from any other sources. I don't drink soda. It doesn't seem to affect her at all. It doesn't seem to affect my milk supply. I know it can some women, just like peppermint. Peppermint can be one of those things that kills your milk supply just like that. So I have, actually, that might be a good point. I have avoided all forms of peppermint, whether it be in a protein bar, whether it be in gum, whether it be a little mint candy. I've avoided peppermint even in teas because I don't want to risk my milk supply dropping. Some other things that I have done, and this kind of goes along with the vitamins that I was talking about earlier. Mother's milk tea, it's said to help a lot of people. I don't know if it ever really helped me, and like I said, the fenugreek in the vitamins, there's also fenugreek in that, and it could have, you know, made my milk supply drop a little bit. I'm not really sure. I never really had much luck with the tea. But aside from those things, drinking a lot of water, drink more than you think you need, and then drink more on top of that, and have a good diet. I've had a really pretty good diet, I would say, in my mind at least. I've had a really healthy diet throughout my pregnancy and afterwards. I feel like that's really helped my milk supply. I take a postnatal vitamin now every single day. I make sure I'm getting enough calories. That being said, maybe I'll go into that in another video because there's so much I could talk about losing my baby weight and kind of regaining myself back. So yeah, maybe I'll make that into a whole nother video, maybe like a 9 months in versus 9 months out. But keeping a healthy diet, always important. Anything else, Micah? Anything else you can think of, babe?
Nope.
Oh, that's something So my husband has been a really good supporter. Find a really good support system, whether you decide to breastfeed or not. Just have someone or a group of people that you can go to that support your decision and that help you along the way. My husband was always very positive with my decisions during breastfeeding, whether it drove him crazy or not, like the pumping at night or not drinking when I wanted, well, not necessarily when I wanted to, but not drinking when it was available to me to have a couple drinks. Just having a good support system really does help mentally, if not anything else. And I think that's it. I hope you guys got something positive out of this video. Hopefully it helped you maybe think of something you hadn't thought about before, or even just to say, none of that stuff worked for me. At least you know it didn't work for you and you can move on to other things. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any other topic sort of videos, talks, anything like that that you want to see from me, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.